around the world. This is Biker Dave here at Horsepower House. We are going to look at on the transmission of a YZ250, the modern model, since they haven't changed it in almost 20 years, basically from 2002 on up. Now this may be similar on other models, but specifically this is going to be for that era of YZ250, and we're going to look at the transmission, the shift shaft. Let's look at the book here. We're going to look at this section right here and just basically how it is assembled, because it could be confusing. You got lots of moving parts going on here, several different gears and things. So I'm just going to show you real quick how it goes together. So let's have a look at that real quick. All right. And we've got them layered from bottom to top, basically. Oh, and also, here's an easy thing. Notice I put the shaft in a small bench vise. You can get this kind of vise anywhere. I'll put a link to one, but this makes it real easy to just hold steady. Just to hold the shaft in place so it's not flopping all over the place and all that. So that's, beside the point, but that's how I like to hold that little shaft. The drive axle, that's called. All right, so let's look at it. And we've got it with the spline end, this end here. This end is going down into my holder. So everything is going to be stacked from here upward, starting from here, here, all the way across. Everything is going to be layered exactly. Okay, so just so you know what we're looking at. And make sure you refer to your little service manual, because it shows everything in the proper layering, but it's sometimes difficult to follow, by looking at a service manual. I mean, it's good to have them and all, but sometimes you need to see it in person. All right. So we'll start from this side over here. Now I don't have the specific names for all of these pieces, unfortunately, because I've honestly never done this before, but I just took this apart and just wanted to make sure that people see how it goes back together. So if you look at the pieces, you'll have to compare to what you're looking at. Okay. This is the larger one, obviously a larger gear. Okay, and let's pivot this up so we can compare. All right, make sure there's no stray washers and things, because they can get in the way where they shouldn't be. Know what I'm saying? All right, so this guy goes first. This spline washer, you got two of them, but this is the larger of the two. Okay, so the larger of the two goes next, and it does have to fit exactly, so you'll have to wiggle it around a little bit to put it on there. And they also recommend you grease and lube everything while you're putting all this together with assembly lube and various lubricants. Your manual will tell you all that. All right, moving right along. And it also recommends, now this big clip, this is different from this one. Now, notice this one has holes in it, where this one just has little slots. Okay, so this guy's next. Now, it recommends that you replace all these clips. All right, so I'm not going to permanently do this, but this is how it goes together. This guy comes on. Now, I've noticed it is easier if you have a tool that pushes outward. I mean, there are circlip pliers that can do it to push outward, but they're sometimes difficult. All right, so I don't know where I came across this tool, but it works really well to push this out. Okay, so it'll push it, spread it outward, then you can go all the way down with it. You just have to be careful with it and don't let it go flying either. Anyway, you need a tool that spreads outward. All right? Moving right along. this fellow here. Notice it has these teeth that protrude outward. And like I said, I don't have exact names for these things, so you just have to look at what you see on your end. This guy goes face down and obviously fits in these slots right here. All right? She slides down like so. Moving along now, this guy here, notice how it looks. She's next. All right, that one only goes so far because one of the shift forks is going to go underneath it here once it's all assembled. Next, the other slotted washer fits right there. Then the other circlip, this should be replaced as new when you install it. Now it has little holes in it for circlip pliers. You know, I mean, you sometimes just have to be gentle with it. Okay, and make sure you hold on to it. Otherwise it'll go flying across the room if you're not careful. Okay, there you go. Next is the other guy here. Now this one has large, let's see here. Notice how it looks. Okay, it's offset. The gear is offset to the left. If I picked it straight up off the table, gear is offset to the left. This guy goes face down. Okay, you'll have to jimmy with it some because it's a real tight fit in here. All right, now that slides up and down like so. And then the other large gear, notice what it looks like. It was also face down like this. This guy will fit with these guys up in here. And excuse me for not knowing the exact terms of each of these things. All right, like so. All right, now if we lay everything down, the shift forks are remaining. Notice the spline set with the threaded end. This O-ring should also be replaced when you're doing this job. Now with these shift forks, notice you'll have one labeled R, one labeled L. Okay, now they will be opposite of each other like this. Okay, so you got one that goes here, the other goes here. Notice they are basically facing each other like this. Okay, like so. And that's basically it for that assembly. All right, now let's look at the main axle side of this assembly. The first assembly we did was called the drive axle. This is called the main axle. All right, now if it is facing this way exactly, the threaded end over here, all the parts are layered from here on up. Okay, so that's got to be first and so on, and face down. So let's go ahead and put it together, and I like to use my little miniature bench vise just to keep everything, you know, steady in place, whatever you want to call it. And make sure you have little rubber jaws on it too, so it doesn't mar anything or hurt anything. All right, starting from the reverse now. Notice it's flat facing down, slotted facing this way. She goes first. And you should lube everything with assembly lube when you're putting it all back together. Next, just a flat washer. Make sure you inspect these, because when you pull these off, sometimes a flat washer is hiding in there. So same as the other assembly, but flat washer. Now we have two clips. They are identical. Okay, these guys are identical, so it doesn't matter which, but you should replace them when you break this apart. So don't reuse them because they get torqued and all that. So we'll replace them. You have to kind of be careful with these guys. Make sure you're using outward pressing pliers. Hold it with your hand so it doesn't go flying. Spread her out gently. Just have to be kind of patient with this guy here. I mean, regular circlip pliers work okay, but sometimes those are even difficult with this task. All right, and I found that the angled prongs on the pliers here work best for a lot of these. They're just, you know, sometimes difficult. So you have to be patient with these. You know, just work them straight down and it'll pop in place at the bottom. All right, next guy will be this guy here. Notice it's got smaller prongs up top, big fat ones on the bottom. It will fit in this section right here, going face down. So some of them are going to be snug, so work it on there. The other circlip, this guy here. Hopefully it'll cooperate. Remember, just keep your hand on it so it don't fly across the room. You have to be just real steady putting these clips in, because they want to, you know, they want to fight with you and all that and argue with you. Make sure they snap in place. All right, now notice that this clip here only goes that far. See, there's a slot for it right there. So it doesn't go all the way, it just goes right to here. Some of this I am new at, so bear with me. All right, next guy here. Now this also needs to have moly, make sure you lubricate. You're going to lubricate everything basically. Lubricate that bad boy. Another spline washer. Fits right on. This guy here. It has a protruding end. This end, notice, is going to be what's facing down. Okay, see how that is? This one's going to be snug, I noticed. So you're going to have to work with it. Work with it to get it on there. Like so. And then the final clip. Things they just try to fight with you, whatever. Hold her steady, push her down till it clicks in place. And there it is. I'm sorry, this is the main axle. All right. Then she will go here. Has a C10 on it. Notice it's okay, notice how it will fit. Basically scooping up on it. Like that. That is the main axle. Okay, so you got main axle, drive axle. And like I said, I'm no expert. I just disassembled it, followed the manual, and just thought I'd do a quick video on what everything looks like in the proper layering, because, hey, if you've never done it, like me, if you've never done it, you're just, could be difficult. So, and try to take pictures also. Take pictures of it, as you're taking everything apart. That way you can see when you put it back together that everything is facing the right direction and all that. So I've tried to do that as well. But yeah. Use your service manual this way with it. It shows you the proper layering, which lubricants to put with everything, the names of stuff and whatnot. Tells you everything. How to remove it. That's how they go together right there. Now, as far as how they mesh together, the main axle is the longer one, basically, if you compared them to identically. The longer one is the main axle. The one with the O-ring is the drive axle, for your service manual reference. And notice, They just fit together just like that. Okay, so they basically offset each other throughout this whole assembly. Okay, and then, you know, these will have to slide back and forth. That's normal. Notice all that. Okay, but as far as how they work together, notice the O-ring of the drive axle is over here, the threaded end. Then the threaded end of the main axle is over here. Okay? Then as far as you know, the next step of inserting it into the crankcase and you know, setting up the shift forks and the dog and all that stuff, I haven't gotten to that point yet, so I can't really apply much knowledge on that. Service manual looks like it really, you know, it explains it pretty thoroughly, but I just wanted to go through that part, you know, this whole part here of the main axle and drive axle, and you know, the little tidbits of information that the service manual mentions. If you've had issues with that sort of thing, post in the comments, you know, so, because we all need help with this stuff, especially if you're not a professional mechanic, you know. I mean, some people are, some people aren't, some people have done it, some people haven't. Anyway, yeah, we are doing a complete bottom end rebuild on our YZ250, and I got previous videos on some things we've done as far as tools we've used and awesome things we've used, maybe some things we've learned also. So check out our previous videos if you'll just search YZ250, or just look at our most recent videos, even though we have a zillion of them. Have a look. You'll find some stuff that may help you. And we've got some entertainment too. We got race videos, motocross videos, MXGP, you know, some European stuff, American stuff. We try to really fling it out there and do live streams also. So, you know, be on the lookout on our social media. You'll see our social media links. So if you're linked to us on those, you'll get notified, as well as being notified on YouTube when we're doing special presentations or broadcasts or whatever. So check it out. You might like it. Biker Dave in the shop downstairs working on the YZ250. Y'all have a good day.